Yes, today we will try to see the extension part of our net neutrality module. In that module, we have talked about the why net neutrality is very important in 21st century, where data is being so important in every aspect. Being a social media provider, being a part of social media, and everywhere. If you see from the perspective of internal security, data is very important. If you see the perspective from the information, from the technology, everywhere data is so important. So that's why net neutrality is a very important topic. Today we'll try to see what are the recommendation of the tribe so far net neutrality is concerned. And that day also I mentioned you about the free basics methods of your Facebook. I told you no, कि Facebook in 2016 or 17 came with the plan that I'm going to give you some websites to every citizen of this country, not every citizen, to the rural citizen of this country at the free cost. But it kills innovation, it kills the startups also. So that time TRI proactively came at the forefront and gave some recommendations, and these recommendations are so important to ensure the net neutrality.
Sir, it also gives the facility of offline use of the Facebook.
Yeah, it is being nexus with your IPS, Internet Service Provider, ICP.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'll tell you. Yes, try recommendations on net neutrality. The Telecom Commission has been accepted Telecom Regulatory Authority of India's recommendations on net neutralities. It restricts or it prohibits discrimination. It eliminates your discrimination. First, it upholds the basic principle of net neutrality by keeping internet open and prohibits any internet service provider from discrimination on the basis of content by either blocking, throttling or fast laning of any website, apps or web services. What does it mean? It gives the essential principle of net neutrality by keeping internet open and inclusive. Everyone can use our websites. There must not be any discrimination between one website with another. First one. And it gives guidelines to the internet service provider like your Bharti Airtel, like your Jio, that you can't discriminate the contents. You can't go for your blocking. You can't block particular websites. If the websites are not paying you, that doesn't mean that you are going to block the websites. You can't block the websites. Number one. Second one, throttling. Throttling means speeding up, speeding down. You can't manipulate the speed of the websites. Sometimes if you go and click the websites, you may find buffering. So in order to get rid of these problems, try recommended to the internet service provider. You can't go for your throttling. You can't manipulate the speed of the websites. Third one is your fast laning. You can't go for the ensure other website to come first. Fast laning means to give extra space to the websites. While clicking, you'll see the everything. Yes. And that is the principle. That's why I'm telling you that there can be three ways where internet service provider can't be discriminated. First one is you can't block the websites or the content that are present on the websites. Second one is throttling. You can't manipulate the speed of the websites. And third one is your fast laning. You cannot ensure some websites to be start fastly. Yes. Any website, apps or web services. It pertains to your website as well as apps or your web services also. Internet service provider cannot block or throttle any web traffic. Yes, or offer fast lanes for the content provider who pay for the privilege. If any sites give you the money, that doesn't mean you give special preference to them. You have to be very fair to every website. Every fair. If any XYZ website is giving you the money, that doesn't mean you have to give extra preference to them. That's why it is come under the net neutrality. Net is a neutral. to everyone, and internet service provider should also provide all the website, all the contents at the equal pace and with the same intention. Yes, Ramananji, I hope you don't have any problem. Second one is the protection of rights of citizen. Yes, it's very important. You know, internet, you know, we can't imagine our life without internet. Actually, internet is an extension of our society. You can often see this from your message on social media. Whatever happening in current affairs will get from the social media. Whatever happening in the Kisan Andolan, we can have such sense in our from social media. We have a lot of debates there. That means, what does it mean? Internet is your extension of society. So the internet use should be facilitated in such a manner that it advances free speech rights of citizens by ensuring plurality and diversity of views, opinions and ideas. That is the basic principle of democracy. The internet is a platform where you can uphold your Article 19, where you can uphold your Article 21. Yes, where you can express yourself, where you can message to your friends. Yes, Ramananji? 14 also. In what sense? Equality. Yes, you have equal rights to express yourself as compared to Ambani and other influential class. Second one, it also restricts internet service provider from entry into pacts. You can't have agreement with any person who discriminates on contents, protocols or user equipment. If you have a good technology, that doesn't mean your website will be the first. You should be fair with all the website, because it is a era of startup. And if you give a special preferential to a particular website, what about the innovative startup? They will not emerge out. They will not become the Byju's. They will not become your Unacademy, Vedantu app. So for that you need to give equal space to every website, every app also, every web also. Web where we can connect from one person to another person. Web means what? Connect. Web. Google is also a web, kind of web. Yes, so we have seen, recommended some measures. Like first, you can't discriminate, prohibits discrimination. Sorry, first one is prohibits discrimination. Second one is your protection of rights of citizens, and third one is a protection of rights of citizens. Sorry, same. Okay, here we can see the different sentences, different arguments. It also restrains. Yes, it also restrains internet service provider from entry into pacts, as I told you, with any person which discriminates on contents, protocol or user equipment. Example is that free basics by Facebook and your in some days ago Airtel 0 also come with the some plan. I am giving you some website, free website, you can browse it. But it kills the innovation, no? And what about the other website? And what about the other startups? Actually, if Facebook is providing certain website to access, what does it mean? It means there is a close nexus between your internet service provider and your Facebook. That's why Facebook is paying lot of money to the internet service provider. That's why internet service provider give preference to your Facebook, and people or citizen or any natives who are using the Facebook can access particular websites. And what about the other websites? What about the other startup? So in this way it kills the innovations. What try wants to give wants to speak or wants to give measures so that this kind of malpractices should not be there, because it kills innovation, and it may bring in front of your Competition Commission of India also. Yes, Competition Commission of India, and it is also against the rights of consumer, because being a consumer we have right to know everything. We have right to express ourselves. Yes, it means that service provider can't enter into agreements such as Facebook free basics or Airtel 0, which propose to offer only a set of service of website for free. That's why I told you a number of times, to use other services user would have had to pay additional charges. What is the use of free service? So that is a very serious lacuna. Protection of rights of citizen. So we should protect the rights of citizen. That's why this kind of you can say populist measures being promoted by the telecom sector or other media should not be encouraged. Simple, so simple. Exemption, yes, there can be exemption. There may be internal security problem also. There is a highly sensitive zones also. So there we can have some exemption also. Like Internet of Things. There Internet of Things is so different, no? It's so complex, no? From the same remote you can control refrigerator as well as your TV also. Yes. It excludes specialist service and content delivery networks, that is CDNs. Content delivery networks from scope of any rules on net neutrality. Yes, it excludes some kinds of services that are being specialized and your content delivery networks from scope of any rules on net neutrality. It does not define specialized service and leaves it to the DOT to identify this service. It is a department of telecommunication who decides which service belong to exemption category. The sole authority who decide which content should be included or which content should be excluded, which service should be included or which service is to be excluded is being decided by your department of telecommunication. First one, it also calls for keeping Internet of Things IoT within the purview of non-discriminatory restriction within the exception of critical services. That's why IoT is also being categorized under the exemption, because IoT is so different as compared to your sites and other platforms. Because IoT is a highly sensitive things, and in IoT you will get different kind of things where you have to charge extra money also. So you can't give offer to everyone with the same price, at the same price. So to avail, to access this kind of services, you have to pay Ramananji extra charges. So there may be a discrimination, because if you want to get a good education, you have to pay more. Simple, it's very simple. And if you want to have a normal education or a below par education, you will get free also. Similarly, we want to avail the good services, you will not get on neutral pattern, not neutrality pattern. It may be exempted from that category by your department of your telecommunications. I hope you are understanding me. Hope so. Exemption. It exempts your content delivery networks from the scope of net neutrality rules, arguing that CDNs aid efficiency to network by reducing latency, mitigating congestion, and free up network capacity for other purposes. CDNs are a layer in internet networks which are outside public internet and are being used by content generators to store the data at the suitable geographical locations. The whole sentence is all around your CDNS. What is CDNS? That is content delivery network. I would like to give you the example, best example. Let's say there is a system that is established in Singapore. From Singapore, data is easy to transfer to India. And from Singapore, it is very difficult to transfer data from Singapore to United States of America, okay, because of the geographical locations. So CDN, in this perspective, if you understand this sentence, it exempts CDNs from the scope of net neutrality. Means CDNs also being excluded from the net neutrality. It is a excluded services, not comes under the purview of your net neutrality. It is an exemption, exempted your services, arguing that CDNs add efficiency, because CDNs can add your efficiency, and in this way you can store more data. That's why it is giving you the more service. If you are giving the more service, obviously you have to pay extra money, you have to pay extra charge, and for that, if you are asking me that I supposed to get the same content at the same price, it will be not possible, because you are getting at the very good level at the loss of at the very fast, because there is a lack of your latency rate, because latency rate is so important. Fast connectivity. So that's why CDNs add efficiency to network by reducing latency, Ramananji, mitigating congestion. There is no traffic problem, and freeing up the network capacity for other purposes. You have a lot of networks you can use for other purposes also. For that you need to have pay some money because it is extra services. So simple. CDNs are layer. What is CDNs? It is a layer, though undetectable. You can't detect. Although it is undetectable. CDNs are the layer in the internet network which are outside public internet. That is undetectable. We can't detect. It is outside the purview of the human being or users. But it acts. But it are being used by the content generator to store the data at any geographical location. Singapore can develop CDNs, but it can store in the Bangalore also because of the proximity of the two states, India and Singapore. Akash, are you understanding me what I am trying to say? Second point. So Internet of Things. Internet Things is as a class of service is not excluded. It not excluded from the scope of the restriction of non-discriminatory treatment. Yes, that means you can have discrimination. That means you can have discrimination on the IoT because IoT is the emerging technology. And in emerging technology, obviously you have to pay some extra charges, extra money. That's why it is not excluded from the scope of the restriction of non-discriminatory treatment. That means it is under your discriminatory treatment. However, critical IoT, Internet of Service, which may be identified the Department of Telecommunications as a specialized service will be excluded. Yes, it is a nodal authority. Department of Telecommunications is a nodal authority. It will decide which services of IoT will put under their excluded service and which will be the included service. It is the sole authority of, the sole responsibility of your Department of Telecommunications. It's so simple. Exemption. That's why it is an exemption. Now we'll see specialized services. Same thing. Emerging and critical service like your remote surgery. Yes. Like your autonomous car that may require high speed internet lines and have been kept out the ambit of the net neutrality rules. Obviously you have to pay more money because are there very extra services. That's why you have to pay money. That's why they are being exempted with the under the purview of your net neutrality. The Department of Telecom has to be defined the technology that will be allowed to exception where telecom companies will allow to use traffic management policies to maintain the quality of service. Same thing. The telecommunication is the sole nodal agency that decides the which service will be included here and there. So simple. Your telecom TSP should be required to declare their traffic management practices. Yes, every TSP that is every your companies will declare their traffic management practices, how they are going to manage their traffic contents, because you are very familiar with the exam time of filling of the form at the end of the last date of your examination field. It's so difficult to fill, no? That time we may face a lot of buffering. Why? Because of the traffic problem. Because most of the applicants are being active at that time. That's why we are getting. So it is also to ensure that this kind of service provider should also ensure about the traffic management, how they are going to manage the traffic. And when employed, and the impact will have on the users. Obviously, it will have impact on the users. The disclosure requirements shall also include information about the specialized service, direct or indirect arrangement entered into by them. What does it mean? It means that the TSP which are coming with the traffic management practices, they have to be very assured that yes, whatever service I am going to provide will not impact the customers in a negative manner, and all will have access to my website, my contents at equal pace. So simple. TRAI has also recommended a multi-stakeholder watchdog. There must be a dedicated institution. There should be a dedicated institution to enforce net neutrality and propose reasonable measures for your traffic management in line with your TRAI guidelines. Whatever guidelines TRAI has been put up, you have to obey, so that to ensure your net neutrality. International treaties, court orders, government court on blocking certain sites is exempt from these guidelines. However, if our High Court say that this kind of pornography websites will not be available from tomorrow onwards, you have to obey the rules and regulations or order or verdict of Supreme Court. And accordingly, internet service providers should exclude such unlawful websites. Unlawful websites. Yes, that's it. Today we have seen about the try recommendations. So far internet service provider are concerned, and so far your telecom giants are concerned.